Hi everyone, I'm Maya from the NextWork team, and today I'm doing a build lab on our newest NextWork project. This is the second project of a series. It's an Azure project. I'd love to know, put it in the chat. Let me know where you're joining from, and have you worked with Azure? Are you looking to learn Azure? Let me know. Here is the project link, adding it to the chat. Hi, Akash. Hi, Manohar, Robert, and Zayden. Hello. All right. Let me know if you are doing the project along with me. It is the second project in the series. So ideally, you would want to have done the first project. But truth be told, I had a little bit of difficulty with the first project, not in the project itself, but I was creating a Azure account and I had some troubles. So I wasn't able to complete the project, and I think that's okay because the second project, which is build toxic chat filter with Gemini, it has all the instructions that includes the first project. So if you haven't done the first project, totally fine. We can do it together. Are you any of you doing this project with me? Let me know. We can do it together. Where are you guys joining from? Zayden, Manohar, Akash. Akash is from Calgary, right? Canada. What about Robert? Where are you guys joining from? And we have Anler. Hello, hello. How's the weather in Canada? It must be cold. Whoa, I don't think I've seen an NextWork learner from Uruguay. Robert, so good to have you here. Harold, Anler, let me know where you guys are joining from. And if we have anybody watching us on YouTube, drop it in the chat. And let me know if you're doing this project with me. Is this something that you've been hoping to learn, Azure? Maybe building a toxic chat filter. Do you want to know what this project is all about? Let's find out. All right, so every NextWork project starts with a 30-second summary. I recently came to know that even a 30-second summary is too long. So if you want, you can always just go to ask and say, tell me about this project. Or even say, give me a one-line summary of this project. And let's see. This project guides you through building a production-grade content moderation API using Google's Gemini API and Azure Functions to filter toxic messages from chats in real time. So if you followed along with me yesterday, you would know what Azure Functions are, but if you don't, there are little definitions that come up on all the terms that have dotted lines below. So Azure Functions are a serverless compute service that lets you run small pieces of code called functions without managing servers. So you only pay when your code is actively running, making it cost effective for event-driven applications and microservices. And the example given in the project is like things like Twitch, Discord, which have so many users and is needs to scale. You want to use a serverless you want to be able to have serverless compute functions, serverless compute services, so that you are being as cost effective as possible. All right, so in this project, you'll add AI-powered content moderation to your streaming backend from the first project. All right, again, I wasn't able to complete the first project. I ended up having to delete all my resources because I know I'll have to redo all of the parts again. And in fact, since you all are on Discord, let me show you what happened. As I would love for all of you to do, whenever you run into an error while doing a project, let us know. This is a community that helps each other, and I struggled with the Azure Function app, so I gave my error. This is what I'm struggling with. I got an error that says subscription is over quota. And then I put a screenshot of my error, and basically the code says subscription is over quota, right? So even though I've upgraded my Azure account and it's a pay-as-you-go subscription model, it still says I didn't have the subscription to create a functions app, which was a big part of the project, which was the last step of the project. And when I posted it, Roy suggested, hey, it could be region related. Try recreating it in a different region. And I think that's great advice. I have to try it. I wasn't able to try it before today. And so I'm hoping to just redo this project, the first part. So the question, the instructions and the steps will come up again. See, we have a nice little handy dandy step 1 where it asks, have you completed everything from part 1? And if you have, then you kind of skip all those steps. If you've done part 1 but not the secret mission, it'll tell you what you are missing. And if you need to catch up, no worries, you can just follow along exactly where you're at. So this is what I am planning to do. If you are joining along with me, that would be so awesome. Let me know in the chat if you are doing the project, if you're just watching along, if you like Azure and you prefer it over AWS, or if you're like, I'm so in love with AWS, why would you ever do an Azure project? Let me know. All right, I'm going to start with this quiz. This is the pre-project quiz, and I'd love to get your feedback too. Give me your answers. What are the 3 key principles for designing an effective AI classification prompt, as outlined in the project? Length, complexity, and creativity. Role assignment, clear task, and structured output. User feedback, iterative refinement, and model training. Or D, keyword density, sentiment analysis, and linguistic style. B, yes, Juan. I think I have to agree with you there. It sounds clear, right? Role assignment, clear task, structured output. And whenever you're talking to AI and prompting it, you always need to give it clear instructions. Which HTTP status code is returned by the post message endpoint when a message is blocked by AI moderation? 200 OK, 500 internal server, 400 bad request, or 403 forbidden. Ooh, you see all these errors all the time. Sometimes I don't think about when I see where. Juan says maybe D. I don't know. I don't know, Juan. I don't know. But let's give it a go. Look at that. Yes. HTTP 403 forbidden is returned for blocked messages. Well done. Nice work, Juan. What is the primary reason for creating a separate violations container in Cosmos DB, distinct from the messages container? A, to improve query performance for all messages. B, to store only the metadata of blocked messages, not the full content. C, to prevent accidental exposure of inappropriate content and facilitate moderator review workflows. Or D, to reduce the cost of Cosmos DB. I'm going to go with C. What do you think? Creating a separate violations container. Yay, C is correct. Question number 4. For which platform do you obtain the Gemini API key for content moderation in this project? A, Google AI Studio, B, Google Cloud Console, C, Azure Portal, or D, Cosmos DB Data Explorer. Juan says A. Let's try A. And A is correct. Question number 5. What is the purpose of the fail open approach implemented in the check message function? A, to block all messages if the AI moderation service is unavailable. B, to automatically retry sending the message to the AI moderation service multiple times. C, to allow messages to pass through if the AI moderation service fails or is unavailable. Or D, to queue messages for later review if the AI moderation service is unavailable. Any guesses? Sounds like C. Yeah, I think so too. Let's try it. Oh, C is correct. Nice. Nice work, Juan. Where should the Gemini API key be stored in the Azure Function app for secure configuration? A, in the Cosmos DB messages container. B, directly in the Python code as a global variable. That doesn't sound right. C, in a configuration file committed to version control. Or D, as an Azure application setting. D? Yeah, of all the choices, I feel D is probably right. Yeah. Well done. High five. 6 on 6. All right. Okay. So, yeah, let's get started with this project, shall we? We did a one-liner. The project guides you through building a production-grade content moderation API using Google Gemini API and Azure functions to filter toxic messages from chats in real time. And the 30-second summary gives us a little bit of a summary on what are the other platforms that use this kind of technology, this kind of functions. Why do we need AI-powered content moderation? What does that even look like? So, nice little diagram here. So we have the user who sends a message. This is an Azure function, which also calls from the API and analyzes the content by sending it to Gemini AI. We get a return about the result of the content. If it is flagged, then we store it in a violations and allow the moderator to take a look at it. Nice. Make sense? All right. Okay, let's get started. So in this project, I am going to build an AI moderation, content moderation build an AI content moderation for text using Gemini API on Azure. This will help me learn um, how AI moderations work. Yeah, all right. Now I'm going to hit done. You can always check out your documentation right there. Change the theme. Today I feel like a dark, no, today I feel like a light mode. Yes. And you can change your content, your text whenever you want, even in the documentation, depending on how you want to see it. One asks, does it cover prompt injection or just content moderation? Can you tell me more about what you mean? What do you mean by does it cover prompt injection? I'm not sure I understood the question, but I'm going to see if Ask understood the question. Let's see. What does the Ask say? This project primarily focuses on building content moderation API that classifies messages as toxic, spam, harassment, or clean using the Gemini API and Azure functions. While it involves designing prompts for AI classification tasks, it doesn't explicitly cover prompt injection as a separate topic for prevention or detection. And prompt injection is a security vulnerability where malicious input manipulates an AI model's behavior. All right. That's what you meant. Cool. Thanks for asking that one. Attackers craft prompts to override instructions, extract sensitive data, or make the model perform unintended actions, essentially hacking the AI's internal directives. Nice. All right, Juan, are you going to do this project with me? It's new. I'm starting from scratch. A great time to join. Okay, to connect your API, your app to Gemini AI, which is where, every message that your users send is about to get screened by the same AI technology that Google's content safety systems use. So for this, we're going to have to grab an API key from Google AI Studio, wire up Gemini to analyze the messages, and we need to do all of this we need to do all of the stuff from part one before we can get started with this step. One says, I've never used Azure before. Well, guess what, one? I am so new to Azure. You should join with me. We can do this together. I will have company. You'll be my learning buddy. So let me know. Oh, sorry. Right. And this is a left. And let's see. Okay, so I did create the account yesterday. And I was pretty sure that I had deleted everything, but it looks like I hadn't. I just want to make sure that everything is clean. Oh, interesting. All right, let me quickly delete this. And I can start from scratch. Delete resource group. And delete the resource group. Delete. And I think I have one more. And I will delete this as well. All right. So now when I go back and I refresh, I think this one is still deleting. Okay. So now everything is clean, almost. Never used Azure before. Wow, is Copilot embedded directly in the Azure platform? Yeah, it is. And yesterday when I was running into an error, I tried to use Copilot, but I was extremely disappointed. So I hope you have a better experience using Copilot. It wasn't even loading for me. Definitely, I have mixed emotions about Azure. Maybe it's because I'm so used to AWS, but this is my first time using Azure, so it takes time to get used to. And it's a really good learning experience, honestly, just to know what the difference is between AWS and Azure, to compare if you're starting out in a new cloud role and you want to know what the benefits are of different platforms. It's a good way to learn. So I do have an Azure account. I'm going to the Azure portal and I want to create a resource group. So create resource, I think I have a resource group and I think okay. I just deleted it. All right, so I'm going to create, and subscription is Azure subscription 1, and I have my resource group. And this time I'm going to select a different region. I was using US East, but I wasn't able to create all the things I wanted to create. So I hear that West might be better. So I'm trying. All right. And Shane, I see you here. Hello. Let me know if you have any corrections for me. Install Azure Function Core Tools. I believe I've done all of this, so let's just double check. I'm going to pull up my terminal. I'm going to pull up a new one. 1 second. All right. I have my terminal up here and I'm going to run the function, the version. Okay, I have a version, so I can skip that if it is not installed. Let me just make a quick note about this. Saving it for my notes later. All right, and then what else? All right, so now we want to install Azure CLI if we don't already have it. I'm pretty sure I have that too. Yep, all good. So I don't need to install that. Now I need to log in to my Azure account using CLI. All right, let's log in. Okay, and it is trying to sign me in on a different browser. I'm going to pull that up right here. And let me pick an account. I've logged in. It's going to redirect to my CLI documentation. And when I pull up terminal now, select a subscription and tenant. Type a number or enter for no changes. We already have a subscription. But just a note that maybe this is something I would like the project guide to include. Or if somebody else runs into this, it's good to make a note of it. All right. All right, so I'm going to enter for no changes because we already had the Azure subscription in there. All right, so that's done. Now we are going to initialize a project. Actually, I have that running as well. So let me put that up. I think this is the one, streaming backend. I did all of this yesterday and I just recreated. I just deleted all the Azure services because I was running into an error with creating a function app. So that's kind of what I'm redoing right now. Bear with me here as I redo some of the things. All right, so now I have all of this. I've created Azure function. I would like to be able to test it, so I'm going to test this in my terminal. Okay, let's see if this works. All right, local settings.json found. Everything looks right. We have Azure function tools. We see the functions, get messages, health, post message. Looking good. Is that right? Does it match what I'm supposed to see? I think so. Okay. And then we want to test it with the Mac OS. And we want to do that with a new terminal. Okay. So now we have posted a message with a JSON object, the content being hello from the stream, and the username is test user. And now we want to test it to see if that was received. So we're going to test the get function. And when we run this, do we need a new terminal? I don't think so. Okay, when we run this, we see the same message that we had posted. So good news, it is working. So locally, it is working. Now we want to deploy it onto Azure, onto a cloud. So this is the part where we're creating storage account and we need to set up the function app. And that's where I'm at. So in Azure portal, create a resource and a storage account. All right, so we go to home. Dashboard. Create a resource. No, hold on. I'm still a little new to Azure. Okay, create a resource. Here it is. Create a resource, storage account, and streaming backend storage is the name we want. It should be globally unique, so we can come up with a new term. Now, I just realized I was supposed to create a resource group. Oh, I should have done that first. My bad. Sorry. Let me go back to the dashboard or the home and create a resource. And in creating resource, I want to select create a resource group. Let me see if I can find more. Resource group, yes. And then we hit create. And resource group, I'm going to select streaming backend RG. Doesn't seem like it has to be a unique name. This time we're doing the US East. All right. And now I'm going to review and create. Clicking on create again. And it's created. Okay, let's refresh. There it is. All right, and the location is West US2. So now when I create a storage account, I go into resources, create a storage account, and then I want to click on the resource grouping, streaming backend RG, and this storage account is going to be streaming backend, and because it has to be a unique name, I'm going to try a number. and one works. Okay. Just out of curiosity. All right, that's already taken. So we'll do with one. And I want standard. I want redundancy to be locally redundant storage. I would have liked information on preferred storage type, but I don't see it here. And I'm going to make a note that I would like to see that. So let me just take a quick screenshot and add it to my notes. And now I am going to hit create review and create. Okay. Create. And it is in progress. So let's just give it a second. Juan, tell me a little bit about which projects you've been working on. I know you've completed the VPC service, VPC series. What's next? Going to refresh. Component is complete. So we have a storage group now. All right, so let's do the next part. This is all in the first project, and I'm going a little fast only because I kind of did it before. I just got stuck, and this is a chance for me to try again and redo some of the steps. We all know that when you're working with cloud, it doesn't always go as you want it to, and you just have to be patient and keep trying and learn as you go, right? Okay, so I am going through the resources. I want to select a function app. So let me filter through function app. And it's funny, right? Yesterday I had no clue about using Azure, and now I feel like I'm getting that comfort. I'm able to find certain things a little faster, but yesterday it was a big struggle. All right, so we are creating a function app. We want the consumption option, confirm, and then the resource group is streaming backend. Function app name has to be globally unique. So let's see what comes up. Oh, it is unique. Wow. Oh, because it's adding a little piece. That's okay. And I think it's also because this is selected. If this wasn't selected, there would be an error. So when we select it, it automatically comes up with a unique default host name. And then here we select Linux. Okay, some of the things could be more especially for step-by-step guidance. So making a note of that as well. Region. Region is going to be the same region that I selected earlier, which is West US 2. Okay. And then runtime stack is going to be Python. And version is 3.11. All right, let's do review and create. Oh, I think I saw an error. Why? Let me go back. Yes, of course, it was a simple little thing. I just need to app name streaming backend is not available in West US 2. Okay, let me just quickly go back and check and make sure all of my regions are aligned. Yeah, West US 2, West US 2, okay. All right, so then I just need to come up with a different name. No worries. Let's go back to function app, create, select consumption, confirm, and the resource group, I'm selecting streaming backend RG. I'm function app name. I'm coming up with something globally unique. Let's see if this works. Okay, now it says it does. Oh, that's because I've not selected a region, and it's going to Canada. Okay. Maybe Canada is my best bet. I don't know. We'll just have to see. So now I select West US 2. It might say it's not available. Let's put 1. Okay, now I have a green check mark. So I do Python and I do 3.11 and I do review and create. You got this, Shane. I believe you. Oh, Shane says you got this, Maya. I believe in you. Yeah, I believe in me too, Shane. I just don't believe in Azure. But it's about a relationship, right? I think about it as a friendship. And I'm just learning Azure, and we're just new acquaintances, and we're trying to become friends. I'm trying, Azure is trying. I think there might be a friendship here. I think there might be a handshake. I think it is finally understanding me, and I am understanding Azure. It's give and take sometimes. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Accepted. Okay, created. Deployment is in progress. All right, I think this is good news. I didn't get this far yesterday, let me tell you that. So, yay, I'm seeing all okays. I still see deployment is in progress. Do I wait a little longer? Do I hit refresh? My impatience is coming in, and I'm going to hit refresh. Okay, all right, Maya, just be patient. This is new friendships that we're creating here, okay? Okay. Let me just go click elsewhere. Come back. Deployment is in progress. All right, let's just give it some time. But I think this is good. This is better than before. Okay, so this is where we are deploying a function app. Oh my goodness, my deployment is complete. Well, the function app. See, believe and you can achieve. That's right. If it's all right with you guys, may I quickly go back and update my documentation, because this is an accomplishment. Let me just tell you, when you're troubleshooting and you work on it again and again and again, I'm sure you would understand that a victory needs to be celebrated. And this is how I'm celebrating my victory. So I just went back to the previous project and I am updating my documentation. So now you can see in my documentation, when I hit view my work, I have my image. I do need to go back and update some of my answers, but at least the screenshot is in there. So I can even say return to later, so I've marked it for review, and I can do that for my other answers as well, so that I know that I need to come back and finish it. And now I can quickly look through and I know this one's not done, and this one's not done. And those two are basically the ones I need to complete. That's okay. I will come back and fill that out later. I just wanted to add that screenshot. All right, so back to where we were. Step 1. All right. I think we are almost caught up. Oh, okay. All right, deployment is complete. Now we deploy our function. Okay, so let me go back to cursor and here. Wait, 1 second. Where should I be deploying this function? This is, I don't know if I understand. 1 second. Okay. Deploy your function. Oh, you know what? I don't think I think the name might be different for me. Hold on, because I had to add a 1. I want to deploy my function. So function, Azure, function app, publish, streaming backend. Let me go and make sure that all my names are correct. Streaming backend 1 is what I want. So let's click on this. And when I hit paste, I want to put a 1 here. So this should solve. Okay, there you go. So note that we don't want to blindly copy the code. We should understand the code and then enter. It helps us understand. But it would also, I was just thinking it would be nice if this piece was a variable that I could just add with the name of the function app that I created. So let me make a note of that. We want a little more clarity in that instruction and use variables in that. All right, let's see how our deployment is happening. Deployment successful. Yay! Remote build succeeded. Exciting, exciting. Okay, so now I need to copy my function app URL. Where is my function app URL? Uh-oh, okay, I think I should, let me go back to cursor. Okay, this is my, is this it? Is that what I want? Maybe it's all of it, but without the API messages. Okay. So I've added that, and now I'm going to test the live endpoint. Also, I was wondering why this wasn't sitting well with me, and then I realized it's not in tabs. When it's a table format, it's so nice and convenient. So let me put that too. All right, so I've got the link here. I've got my Mac OS instruction. Let me copy that and paste it here. Okay. And what am I doing here actually? I'm testing the live endpoint. So I've posted a message and now I want to check if it was received, right? But we aren't, we posted, then shouldn't we check it with a get? Or maybe, let's try this. So is this the get command? Hold on, let me expand. Oh, this is checking all the messages. Okay, let's try that. Yep, and there it is. Hello, Azure. And then just to test, let me put in a different message. So I'm going to say username is Maya. And then when I run the testing curl command, I should see the test username Maya. Yes, I do. I see two messages. Very, very cool. Okay, so we have that running and we're good to go. I would like a little more instructions here though. Shane, it's so lovely to see you here. I know you're in the midst of sorting through a lot of stuff and still you show up. It's awesome. Uh-oh. Missing image. No. Whenever you see a missing image, please, 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 please tell us. It is really useful for us to know, and sometimes a refresh will solve all the problems. Shall we try that? Did the refresh help? No. All right, that's okay. It will come up soon. All right, we're gonna add persistent storage with Cosmos DB. Your messages are stored in memory and they're gone when the function restarts. So let's connect to Azure Cosmos DB for persistent storage. And we have a secret mission in step 1. Whoa. Hold on. I would like to have known that. That's so cool. We've had secret missions in other steps before, but very cool. All right. Shane says, can't miss Dr. Maya in action. Aw, Shane. Okay, question. Is the secret mission required? Do I have to do it? Not clear, is it? Let's jump in. Oh, what is this secret mission? Okay. Build a moderator dashboard API that lets humans review, approve, and reject AI flagged content. In the secret mission, create a get endpoint to list flagged violations. Add filtering by category, date range, and review status. Build a patch endpoint to approve or reject violations and track actions with audit logging. Oh, interesting. Hmm. All right. A little confused, but it's more like, am I in step one? Am I in step two? Kind of a confusion. Am I supposed to do this? Is this optional? All right, let's just do it. Okay, in this secret mission, we're going to create a get endpoint to list flagged violations, add filtering by category, date range, and review status, build a patch endpoint to approve or reject violations, track moderator actions with audit logging. The human in the loop pattern is something that commonly happens these days. We have the AI moderation, and then we want actual human moderators to catch false positives. All right, so let's create the get violations endpoint. So we're going to create a new file called violations API.py, and we're going to do that by telling our AI to create it for us. And so this is to be done in Gemini, not Gemini, Cursor. So let me create a new one, close this out, and hit enter. Shane says, I'm still trying to catch up to you. I think you'll catch up to me in no time. Okay. Yep, I see the Python file now. Let's review it. We are importing Azure Functions, date time, JSON, logging. This is really awesome how quickly Cursor can build a full Python file. And you've got all the logic with comments all in there. And my recommendation is always to go through the code very carefully. If you're very new, go through it, try and understand it as much as possible. None of our projects, especially these, we don't require or expect coding experience. So if you're trying to learn, it's good to start by trying to understand and read code. For now, I'm going to trust Cursor and keep going. Okay, so from there, we now go back to the project. We've created this violations endpoint and we accept to apply the changes. Now we add the review action endpoint. And the review violation function is so that moderators can approve or reject flagged messages. So we want to create a function that gets violation ID, accepts JSON, all of these things. So, one of our engineers, Krishna, summarized the use of AI very beautifully. And he was saying that, when you're building something, AI should be a way to act as a buddy. So you should be able to think how do I want to tackle this problem? And then communicate to AI, and AI should do it for you. But it should be things that ideally you're able to do on your own, and now you're using AI to become more efficient. What's really awesome about the NextWork projects is that if you are a complete beginner, you are trying to learn, you're using these prompts as a great way to understand how to prompt AI to build the functions that you need, how to think about problems, what kind of level of detail goes into prompting, into writing that prompt. And then as you practice with these NextWork projects, you will get into more of a hang. You'll get the hang of it. And yeah, and that should help you. The key is to question things. Try and find out why this is happening. Why is that prompt written the way it is? Why is the code that's been generated in the way that it's been generated? So question everything and use all of the tools that you have, all the resources you have to learn. All right, so I have done that, and I believe I accepted changes. All right, we have done all of it. Okay, and now we get into wire up the new endpoint. So open the function app Python file and send the prompt. Let me just quickly check. So we have the get violations function and we have the review violation function. So all set here. Now we are going into the function app Python file. And here we want to update the file to add 2 new endpoints for moderation dashboard. And we've got all the requirements that we need, importing get violations, review violation from the violations API file, add get violations, add patch violations, all of those good stuff. Awesome. And if you want more explanation on this code, you can always click on this little jumping icon and get all the details that you want. Again, use this opportunity to question everything. Ask, ask, ask. It is now so personalized to you. So depending on different levels of backgrounds or skills or experience, you can now use the ask function or the ask feature that we have built in to ask all your questions, whether you are trying to understand the basics of what is a function and what are the different methods that I'm writing and why am I now importing these methods onto a different Python file? What is happening here? Ask all the questions you have. There is no judgment. There is no limit, no AI tokens being used that you have to worry about. Ask, ask, ask. And if you are in a different experienced level, maybe you're asking about how is it used in the industry, question the architecture and the systems design in this project. And maybe the questions that you have are different, but use the ask feature to your content and be curious. Shane has a really cool comment. This is true. Like my cursor project, when I built a new portfolio website, it was good but not great. So I used my knowledge base to make my website even better. Nicely said, Maya. Thank you. All right, so let's go back to cursor. And here in our little cursor AI. We enter this prompt, and as cursor comes up with the idea on what to do, let's just give cursor some time. Okay. Yeah, Juan, you're right. The best part is that the ask feature is context aware of the projects. So true. I think initially we had a lot of our learners say that when they're trying to troubleshoot projects, they often go into ChatGPT and they have to give ChatGPT all the context of the project and then ask the question and troubleshoot the error. But now the context lives right there. So the other cool thing, one, I don't know if you know this, is that the ask is also has memory. So as you ask questions, as you do projects, it will remember. And so then now it'll be more personalized towards what you want, what your goals are, and what you want to learn and get out of it. So hopefully that is helpful, more helpful. All right, let's review this real quick. We're creating a function app. We want all the imports, get violations container. It's looking good, looking decent. And let's keep it all. Okay. And now let me go back to the project. All right, I've accepted and applied all changes. Now let's deploy and test. Again, I would have liked it to have that variable because I think now I have to add one. Am I right? Oh. All right. Yeah, it stores user memories, which is why it's able to tell you, like, let's see, let me test it out for you. What projects have I completed? I don't know, I'm testing the feature with you. Here are the projects you've completed. Okay. Ooh, you've been busy. Is there something you'd like to revisit? What is the next project I should do? To deducing, inferring? That's a great question, Maya. Based on your completed projects, you're currently making progress on build toxic chat feature. Yes. What should I do next? What should I do next? I like that I get to play around with the NextWork app live with you. Oh, so it says, hey, based on your completed projects and your current work, it's clear that you have a strong interest in AI. I also remember you're interested in AI safety, specifically prompt injection and content moderation. And here are other projects that you would enjoy. Oh, and even gives me reference to the roadmap. Look at that. Smart little ask feature. If you could name the ask feature, like people have been recommending little clippies or like a little buddy, what would you name it? Next ask? Ask work? I don't know. All right, let me go back to cursor. Sometimes I get distracted. Okay, so what do we do? Python, hold on. Okay, so I ran it. All is going well all up to here. Okay, I think we're all good. Amazing. So now we want to test our get endpoint and checking the violations. I shouldn't have any violations, yeah. So when I run the curl command, I get 0 because there hasn't been any violations. But again, it could be more clear. All right, oh, where am I? Let's go back to Chrome. Okay, so I see that I have no violations, and then now I want to get the violation ID from the get response. Ooh, okay. Great question from YouTube. I've got a question from Nevlifs. Sorry I joined late. Could you give an overview of what you are executing? Of course, happy to show that to you. I am currently building a content moderation on Azure. This is the new NextWork project. I'm going to share the link with you here in the chat. And just building it live. I am learning as I go. I'm very new to Azure. After all these NextWork projects on AWS, this is one of the first Azure projects. It is the second Azure project and the first Azure series. And so far, it has been really interesting because we're working on serverless functions. And we haven't gotten too far. I'm still on step 1, as you can see over here. So feel free to join along. Nevlifs, tell us where you're joining from, and are you looking to learn Azure or AWS? Okay, so back here, when I ran the curl, I see database not configured. Now, is that a expected error? I think not. I think I'm supposed to post something before I can get something, right? So maybe, hold on, let me go back. Let me check this code in detail. All right, let me ask, what are we doing here? What is this code and what does it mean? So when we go through it, the curl command sends an HTTP patch request to update a specific violation. Xpatch specifies the HTTP method as patch. All right, we are setting the content type header and we're providing the JSON payload, and yet what is the error I'm getting again? Nevlifs says, I love Azure UI. Whoa, you need to get in here. Come join us on Discord because I think you might be outnumbered and we need Azure lovers to hype and give us more encouragement to come up with NextWork Azure projects. You know what I mean? Joining from San Diego, California. Oh my goodness, I'm so jealous. That's such a beautiful city. Do you live by the beach? All right, guys, I need to focus a little bit here because I think I'm low-key getting distracted, but that's okay. I always have fun doing these labs with all of you. The more people who show up, the more fun it is. Nevliv says, I work in med tech as a DevOps and automation engineer. I primarily use Terraform and Azure. Isn't that cool? That's so cool, Nevliv. To work in DevOps in medtech, that is a deadly combination. Adding it here. All right, let's see. So join us along, check out the new Azure projects, and keep telling me why you love Azure because I'm still giving, okay, this is what I've been telling myself. We're trying to bond. Azure and we are new, we're acquaintances, and I'm working on building a friendship with Azure. So if you say Azure is a friend of yours is a friend of mine. So this is good. All right, so I did this. I tested the get endpoint. You should see a JSON response with your violations. Do I see a JSON response with violations? It says database not configured. Let me just try this as well and see how that goes. Okay, it says database not configured. And I'm also going to quickly go through the first project, go through the secret mission and see if there's anything in there that I might have missed. Because this is the part where we were supposed to build a persistent storage and create a Cosmos DB account, which we didn't do now, but I wonder if that's something we are supposed to do. Sorry, I'm going back and forth between two projects. And for you, Nevlifs, I am going to add the first project of the series. Nevlifs, do you lift? Is that too obvious a question to ask? Oh, this is the second day, okay. All right, so I think I complete. So now if I say I've completed step 1, but not the Cosmos DB, I can, yeah, I think this is the piece that I need to do. Just going through all the instructions and seeing what I need, not need. Okay. Cool. Now Liv says, I'm working on blue-green deployment strategy and recently integrated Datadog in our infra pipeline to monitor front-end and back-end logs. Oh, wow. That is so cool. You might like PostHog too, since you're working on Datadog. And blue-green deployment strategy. I think I know somebody else in the NextWork community who's also working on blue-green deployment. Join the community. Have you joined us yet? Are you on Discord? Let's see. Let me see if I can send you a link to our community. It's there in the description, but would love to have you here. All right, create a Cosmos DB account. Shane, are you working on this project by any chance? Or is it just me? Nevlifs, you should get into Discord to come join us. All right, so now I want to create a Cosmos DB in the Azure portal. Oh, you're having issues in the first one. You got the account, Azure account error resolved though, right? I think I saw the update in your post on that. Yep. What are the errors you're running into, Shane? Oh, you know what I just realized? I usually call everyone by their Discord handles, but Shane, I still call you Shane. Yeah. As long as it's not Sean. What if it's not Sean, but it is Sean? All right. Okay. Create a Cosmos DB account in Azure. Create a resource and search Azure Cosmos DB. So we go Azure Cosmos DB. And then here, we added a resource group. Hold on, let me not go too fast. Create a resource, Cosmos DB, create, and then Azure Cosmos DB for NoSQL. Okay. Resource group. Hello, Omar and Abdul. Good to see you. I just saw Shane's comment. All right, fill in a resource group. Fill in a resource group, okay. Workload type. Oh, okay. I'm going to do learning. Best for beginners, low cost, easy setup. Yes. But the interesting thing is that I didn't see that option here, did I? So let me add that note. Okay. Subscription, resource group, account name is streaming backend Cosmos. And then name is not available. If I hit one, it is available. And then location, same as my resource, which is East 2. Availability zones. Oh, hello. Hello, Roy. Are you here to tell us that you've already completed the project? Okay, I don't see availability zone. Capacity mode is serverless. And okay, I'm going to hit review and create. I did not see your message until after. Right. Okay, let me go back. Hold on. I didn't even bother to read the error message. It should not show EUAP. Refresh the page. All right. Resource group is streaming backend RG, account name. Oh, why did the refresh work? Well, why was that? Buggy? You know, there's somebody on YouTube, Nevlips, who loves Azure. Look at this. Check this out. Hold on. It's good to know that there are folks who love Azure. It gives me hope. Okay, so now I'm going to review and create. Roy, quick question. What does EUAP mean? And why did you know it would error when you saw that? Validation success. Roy says, I don't remember, but it happened to me. Love that. All right, so validation success. Now I want to create and wait for deployment, maybe 2 to 3 minutes. All right. Nevlifts, I would love to know, do you lift? Deployment is in progress. All right, but Roy, the good thing is that my subscription error finally was resolved. I did change the region from See if the audio works. No, the audio is still not working. Or is it just me? I don't know. Am I audible now? Ooh, hello, Boo. What a cool name. Boo question mark, question mark, question mark. That's the name. Not just Boo. All right. Okay, I think we're back on. Awesome. Thank you for your patience. Yes, we do grow together. And I was telling the team today that when I created the post, I was like, this is me just like, hey guys, I really don't know. I've tried a lot of things. Help me out. And they were like, yeah. It's really cool that, you know, to get a response. It's pretty awesome. So thanks, Roy. All right, so deployment is done. Everything is successful. We want to, you know what? I think this was in the, there's no question, like we don't have to add this anywhere. I think it's from the other project, right? It's in the secret mission, that's why. So let me just quickly add that, sneak that in really quickly because then I get to have awesome documentation. Oh no, but it doesn't ask. Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry for jumping back and forth. All right, I'm focused now. I promise. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, so we were here and I realized that I am done with part one and I had not done the Cosmos DB, so I'm going through it, creating the database and the container. So let's go to resource. In the sidebar, click on Data Explorer. Go to resource. All resources? Data Explorer? I don't know. Let me just look for Data Explorer. Oh, maybe it's in all resources and then I search Data Explorer. No, in next steps in Cosmo DB. Oh, right. So here, go to resource, like go to this resource. And the instructions could be a little better. Okay. Thank you, Roy. Such a rock star. Okay, so here in the Data Explorer, click New Container. Okay, clicking New Container. Uh-oh, where's my new container? Oh, it's loading. Loading. Ooh, okay. All right, click on New Container. And then we want to create new streaming DB. And container ID is messages. Partition key is username. And then we hit OK. And that's happening. Roy, how's your day been so far? To answer your question earlier, I have not started today's project. Okay. Okay. All right, get the connection string. Wait, are we done? Okay, yeah, we've created a new data explorer. Oh, hello, Navlips is here, joining from YouTube to Discord. Hello. I assume that it's the same person, Navneet Navlips. I just saw a pattern, called it. All right. Navneet is joining from San Diego. I might be a little jealous. Just a little bit. All right. So now we have a new container, and now we want the connection string. So in the sidebar, we go to settings, keys, and copy the primary skill. So the primary key. Copy it. No, this one. Okay. Add the connection string to Azure, search function app, and select yours. So let's go to function app, and let me select mine, and then add an environment variable. Settings, environment variable, add, name is Cosmos connection string, and we hit apply, and apply and confirm. Navneet says, why are we doing the steps manually? Navneet, are you asking as opposed to using Terraform? I think that's a great question. And for someone who is very new and trying to learn cloud, trying to learn Azure, I think it's like being able to see the console, understanding how it works is a great first step before you remove the trainer wheels and go full in with Terraform. So, yeah, it's if you're new and you're just trying to understand how things work, I think it's useful to see the UI and see all the pieces. Great question. Tell us a little bit about how you got to learn and be where you are today. You are a DevOps engineer, and you're very comfortable with Azure and Terraform. How did you get to where you are? For those who are in trying to get into cloud engineering, trying to learn AWS, trying to learn Azure, any tips you would share with the community? Okay, so now I'm updating the function code. So I want to open the function app. And so I have my function app Python file, and I'm going to send this prompt. Update this Azure Function app to use Cosmos DB instead of in-memory storage. Add a container, update the post. Okay. Very cool. All right, so I copy this. Again, we can ask more questions about it to understand more about what that prompt is really trying to achieve. So, yeah. The code snippet outlines the requirements for migrating your Azure Function app from in-memory storage to Cosmos DB. It instructs you to create a helper function, get container to establish a connection to Cosmos DB using an environment variable for the connection string and specifying the database and container. You'll then modify the post API message endpoint to store new messages. And then you're updating the get API messages endpoint. And finally, handling scenarios where Cosmos DB might not be configured. Makes sense. Cool. So I'm going to prompt Cursor to take care of that for me. I am in function app. Cool. Let me see. So Navneet's tip is read, get hands-on small projects, ask questions, review documentation, understand system design, how things are connected, and of course, YouTube. Wow, that's awesome. I'm curious, how did you hear about NextWork? And have you done a NextWork project before? We are all about hands-on projects at NextWork. So it's good to have you here. Somebody who's experienced and a working tech professional saying that it's important to do hands-on projects goes a long way. Read is a good tip. Ask questions, yes. Staying curious. Review documentation. Understand system design. Wow. So good. All right, Cursor, what changes have you made? Created get container function, updated post message endpoint, updated get messages endpoint. All right, let's keep them all. And now let's update dependencies. So we are updating requirements.xp with these functions. So these are our dependencies. Tell me more about why I need to update dependencies. And while that is giving us an answer, I'm going to go back to Cursor and update my dependencies in the requirements text. And I already have that. So cool. All right, so let's go back to the project dependencies. Is to ensure that all the external libraries and packages that our project relies on are up to date and correctly listed. Okay. Okay, so I think we are good to go there. Deploy and test, open the terminal in your code editor, view terminal or create a new one. Run this command to deploy your changes. Okay. View terminal. I don't know why that instruction's there. Okay. Oh, I keep doing this. It should be streaming backend 1. All right, Navneet says, I came across NextWork when I was going through search for agentic AI. I was trying to search for something like an agent will deploy in production rather than engineers being on call. But I have not found any useful content. Oh, interesting. I think, yeah, Roy might have something something useful, because I know Roy works a lot on automating tasks with agents. I know Squinky Dinks is someone else. But yeah, Roy, keen to know what you have to say about it. An agent that will deploy in production rather than engineers being on call. Isn't that a lot of responsibility to give an AI agent though? Would you feel comfortable doing that? Yes, as in it's a lot of responsibility, or yes, as in you would feel comfortable doing that? Would you want an agent to suggest or review code or PRs instead of deploying it into production? I mean, I'm sure you've got a workflow in mind. I'd be keen to know more about it. In fact, we've got another 13 minutes. Are you in a position to unmute? Can I open this up more for a discussion as I work through the project? What do you think? Unmute. Oh, okay, awesome. Let's go. Let's do this. Hi, Navneet.
Hey everyone,
Hello. Good to have you here.
how's everybody doing today?
Great. It's been a wonderful day. It is a lovely day here in Wellington, New Zealand.
Oh, you're from New Zealand. Don't worry, I'm not an AI, I'm an actual person. And let's dive into it. So, we are adopting blue green deployment strategy for one of our releases upcoming. So, we are investing a lot of time, effort, and documentation and stuff because whenever we deploy, we have to have our documentation, approved by a quality team. Um, So what I was suggesting, I mean, of course, this requires a lot of like thorough investment. So the agent, what the agent gonna do is, most of these release strategies are repetitive from the past releases. So what this agent gonna deploy into each of the pipelines, and then we use our code beamer to collect the evidences for our QA team. So that agent will collect any screenshots necessary for the additional QA testing, and this will collect everything, and then it will save everything. So the agent will basically collect the screenshots. But my investigation is not thorough. It's just like something that we were discussing the other day. But this requires a lot of time to investigate, like what roadblocks we may face. So yeah, so that's something I have in mind. I think this will reduce a lot of time. So, but we have to keep that in mind. Like for any like regular deployment strategy, we don't halt any services. For blue green, we go and manually like stop like app services, function apps, and other automated services like Databricks or anything like the complex like of course like most of the team here like they might be using different like services like for blue green like we have to stop our containers and then we deploy in our green environment. So yeah, it's a complex scenario, but yeah, it requires a lot of investigation.
Mm. A lot of research needed for it too.
Exactly.
How far along are you with that investigation?
Right now we are working on blue green for our upcoming releases. So this is something. I mean, this is not like a week's project or a month's project. This is you're thinking about like more than like 9 months or like could be up to a year, depending on you're working at the other releases, like your other projects. So sometimes you have to collaborate with other teams like SRE or Cloud Ops. If I'm a DevOps, sometimes like they may have like additional. They might create a different subscription, for example, for me, or like different set of like code base or something. So yeah, so I mean, it's not like a very small project. It's a big project.
Hmm. Really cool.
Yeah.
So cool to have you here. And thanks for joining Discord from YouTube.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wasn't like I'm not much involved here in NextWork, but I
Mhm.
just came across this community. I think whatever you guys are doing, it's amazing. And thanks to YouTube, sharing whatever is sharing with everybody. It's a big thing.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're always releasing projects, which allows anyone to learn and upskill wherever you are, whatever you're trying to learn. And it's also important for us to know what you want to learn so that we get inspiration on projects that we can release that might be
I think
useful.
lately, yeah, lately, like what I've been like trying to understand the whole system architecture. How things are connected. So those kind of things, I think once you implement those things, I know like we are we get hands on like the things we are doing like project or a GR task, but like understanding like the whole thing, like how strings are connected, I think that matters a lot. Like
Yeah,
how resource groups are there, like how many like logic apps, how containers are connected, how's the Databricks job, where's the ETL jobs are running. So those kind of things.
for sure. And like you said, sometimes it's, doing those hands-on projects and starting small and making it, adding on more and more complexity to the
Mhm.
projects really helps understand that strings and connections between the whole system's design too.
Exactly. Like, so, I mean, I think the documentation matters too. Like, sometimes any company you join, you may have a documentation, sometimes understanding that architecture, like how things are, like, for example, like what is blue green deployment strategy? What is continuous deployment strategy? So those kind of things, and documentations like come in the picture. It's a pain, but documentation, how I see,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, like if it gives you um a greater chance to dive deep.
For sure.
Yeah.
Navneet, I think every engineer, every software engineer, they they always say the documentation is the most frustrating. Like it seems so trivial. Like it's in my
Mhm.
head, just can you not read my head? But it's so important. And our best engineers are always really good at documenting what they've done and in a way that everyone understands. And I think that's
Yes.
what
Mhm.
that's what something we love about NextWork is that we automatically have documentation that is generated when you complete a project. So it helps anyone who's just learning or building a portfolio or even upskilling add on to their portfolio with the automated um, NextWork documentation. So any
Mhm.
project that
Yeah,
you
we
complete.
yeah, we use that too as well, but
Oh, really?
yeah, sometimes you can tell like if people are using Copilot or like the word they are using like dynamic or something or grammar is like next next level, so you can tell instantly like okay, this is kind of like I get a vibe like this is an AI. It's good.
Mhm.
It's good. I'm not saying it's a bad practice, but the world is evolving, so we have to catch up. But
Mm.
at the same time, like you have to be logical.
Yeah. What would you add on to it?
Mm, a human thinking,
Oh, this is all
how
human.
humans
This
think.
is based on our answers. So I can go and edit. So if I
Oh,
edit,
okay.
I um, I provide this is Maya, and this is basically what I entered. So somebody who's doing the
Mm,
Next Work project has to answer all the questions and fill out all the
okay, that's cool.
tasks. And sometimes it's like adding your own screenshots of things you have done. So here,
Mm-hmm,
this is my screenshot. And now you
mm-hmm.
can see this is my work. Like I actually did this, and I'm
I
so,
haven't reviewed it, but can you send me a link of this? I would like to like
yeah,
go in
of
inside and
course.
review it.
Absolutely. What do you want
Yeah,
a link of? The project, the
like this
documentation?
this document you created.
Oh my goodness. This is my work. This is
Is it too much
my
work?
work.
If
No,
it
no,
is,
no, 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 no. It's
don't.
okay. It's okay. I will
Yeah.
share it with you here. So this is how I can share it, and this is my documentation. You should check out Roy's or Shane's. They have
Okay.
high quality stuff here. Let me
Nice.
check out.
Nice.
Um, where's Roy's documentation? Roy is an absolute. I mean, these are our legends here, Roy and Shane.
Cool. I'm
Um,
glad to meet legends. You know.
yeah, check out Roy's. Oh my God, this is epic.
Yeah, I would love to.
Um,
If we can
like,
just. Okay, that's in good.
Roy, do you want to add anything? It's like put a limelight on you.
Sorry about that. The little one's gritting my ear off. You might hear him in the background, but yeah, I was hearing what you were talking about, Naive, earlier about the things you're doing, and that blue green, I can see where um having agentic systems integrated would be a lifesaver. However, I don't think we're there yet. Um, I think
Yeah.
I think it's blue green itself has a lot of guardrails with
Exactly. Exactly.
different
You just nailed it.
automation processes. However, I think you're
Mhm.
looking for more like data centric kind of
Mhm.
agentic work automation to where you want it to where it reads the data and maybe provides more
Exactly.
insight on what to do and
Mhm.
think about it and do it. Right there,
Mhm.
I don't depending on the organization you're with, they may have some governance behind it, but at
Mhm.
this time, I think 80% of what people are implementing now are automation process. I think
Mhm.
the agentic part maybe sooner later. I think the idea behind it is the one that's growing. Understanding how
Mhm.
agentic systems can improve organizations and system workflows, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
I think they're seeing that. Sorry about that, my little one. About I think automation. If you can see an automation workflow, maybe improve it with large language models to improve those pipelines to see if they can prevent the issue before it goes to blue green. Then I think that that would hit the spot more than when before it hits production and it goes to those deployments.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. As you said, Roy, like, governance, you have to involve cloud security, SRE or cloud ops. So this is as I was mentioning earlier. This is not like a week's project or a month's project. This could take like a year and a half. You have to
Of course.
involve all those teams, investigate in the lore environment. Then eventually, like if you have success, you have to bring quality in the picture, and then you move on to the production. But it's a very complex project, and at the same time, it requires a lot of investigation, like how things are linked to each other, what dependencies might be there, those kind
Correct.
of things.
I do
Yeah.
want to add on that since you're on Azure, I think Azure will be the leading person in this in their infrastructure because
Hmm.
there's a lot of documentation and a lot of certifications in regards to the AI integration piece of that
Hmm.
cloud provider compared to like AWS. AWS, their stuff is growing, but I see them more as a third party integrating to
Yeah,
uh,
eventually we are
utilize that.
migrating to AWS
Oh,
in
so you
next
gotta
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the understanding of agentic systems should be the topic because that's not going away. I think people want to,
Hmm.
grow with
Hmm.
that as when they do come, people are ready. I think as you see now currently, a lot of third-party agentic systems you see
Hmm.
there's issues with governance, but it looks like with cloud providers adopting a lot of these methodologies with LLMs and automation and all that, and making it more agentic, integrated into the
Hmm.
platform, then they'll see that governance. More companies will accept the risk of going with a cloud provider that has that agentic system
Hmm.
compared to having multiple different systems or AI systems to work with. So I think just understanding the concept, the frameworks, the principles around agentic systems, and being ready for it, I think you'll get ahead of the game and understand that when it does come and you're working through the project, that build you're doing, it may you'll be the SME on that.
Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah, it'll be like a game changer because being in the production calls, like it could be 3 hours, it could be somewhere like 5 hours, it could be 8 hours, could be 12. So yeah, it can reduce a lot of effort, time, and make it more yeah, consistent.
I agree. When I used to work in a financial uh, fintech company, I was on call, and when things broke, those calls
Hmm.
drag on, and we want to
Yeah.
make sure we capture the data, what's breaking, how much money is costing us, the company, how urgent, who's on the call, and it goes all that to where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
let's fix it. So, with having agentic systems in play, I could see the benefit, but also the risk too, because sometimes the false positive may increase. You may get more hallucinations, and those things have to get tested. So imagine all those machine learning pipelines that need to get improved because they integrated this new system. And I think that's one of the biggest hesitance and why most companies haven't pushed for it yet.
Yeah. 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 I mean, but when you were in with the company, I mean, this is my just last question. Then I'm gonna leave. But here's the thing, like what, like imagine, like what were you guys when you were like part of those calls, like were you adopting like a continuous deployment strategy, or were you doing like blue green, like what was it like?
So those calls, when calls like that happen and something's broken and it's draining, we usually roll back, right?
Mm,
It was a couple years ago, so the process may be different compared to now.
yeah.
But with rollbacks, if anything is broken and any changes occur, we just contact those systems owners and say, hey, gotta go, we gotta pull it back because we have to
Mm,
get it to a state where it's working. And sometimes it just happens because we they have to do the troubleshooting, and those things never change. Those processes, especially with these what do you call it, availability calls where things have to be turned back on because it's affecting business needs. So, will
mm.
this occur with current industry? It may improve it, it may not. But I
So
guess we'll see as we go.
So who used to take that call back? So imagine you're trying to deploy in a green environment, and I'm pretty sure you halt some production services in the blue environment before going to the green. So imagine like green environment, you think, oh, this is not working out. Our infra pipeline is failing. So you roll back to the previous version. So who makes those calls? Was it like stakeholders, like developers? Uh,
It's gonna have to. So, when you get hired to the positions of like seniors or principal engineers, those guys
mm-hmm,
own the systems. They make the call because at the end of the
mm-hmm,
day, it's
mm-hmm,
it's the benefit of the organization.
mm-hmm,
They will either take the heat and face the consequences later, but they explain to this
mm-hmm.
to whoever's in charge, whether it's a director or if it's the shareholders or whatsoever. Hey,
Yeah.
these are the trade-offs. We need rollback,
Yeah. Yeah.
or you lose
Exactly. Yeah.
millions. So it's
Yeah.
it's that it's
Same.
that whole
Yeah.
process.
True. All right, but this is a good talk. I have to leave, unfortunately. But yeah, it's like almost like 6:30 here in California, and yeah, we'll touch back. And moderator, are you? Is your name Maya or like? Sorry,
Yep, my name is Maya.
nice meeting you, and
Nice
nice
to meet
meeting
you too,
to
Navneet.
everybody who's here. Whatever you're doing, it's amazing. Keep doing it, and I will join more and next work these projects as much as I can, so
Mhm.
I can learn myself, because I always believe, like, sometimes even the basic projects, matters a lot. And that's what
Mhm.
even anybody joining in my team, when I do those KT sessions, like knowledge training sessions, I always tell them like, hey, read those Confluence documentation, ask those questions. I know
Mhm.
documentation you don't want to read, but spend time, understand, those kind of things, small things. I feel like small things matters a lot, rather than jumping onto big things that'll come eventually. So that's what I believe in. But thanks for having me. I will be joining
Absolutely.
more sessions like this. But yeah, it's nice knowing everybody. Take care. Have a good day.
Take
Take
care.
care. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye.
Navneet. So cool. Really cool discussions about blue-green deployments. I'm wondering if there's a project in there somewhere.
You guys did a blue green. You guys kind of simulated one with the
Yeah,
CI/CD pipeline one. Um,
yeah.
but I don't miss those days.
Yeah. Yeah, really cool. I'm always in awe of how NextWork is able to attract um, tech folks from all spectrums. So, really good to have a wonderful community like this. On that note, I did not get too far. Still on step one, working on the Cosmos DB, but the biggest win for me today is that I was able to complete the part one piece. And thanks to Roy for for suggesting a different region. That was really helpful. I will be completing this project, or trying to, so that I can do the third project in the series. So stay tuned, that's tomorrow. And today we have a very interesting session. I'd love for you guys to join. We've got Okasha joining from Pakistan, and he is going to give us a demo of this really cool project that he has built. It's an enterprise grade 3-tier production system, and it's a very quick 45-minute session is what I have in mind. We've got like a 20-minute demo, like 10-minute introduction of all of us, whoever's joined, and especially Okasha. And then we open it up for just questions and have a more interactive session. It's always more enjoyable than um, just a talk, a monologue. So hoping for all of you guys to join in. So stay tuned, and I'm sharing the link for that. And yeah, I have to say, as I do this Azure project, it's been cool. because yesterday I felt like I really struggled with the console, and then today I was understanding like how things are organized and learning where to find things. Whereas in AWS, it was a lot more natural for me because I had more experience. So it's always a good reminder to start from scratch and remember what that beginner mindset is like. Any questions, suggestions, comments before we close the session?
Yeah, I had a comment. I just wanted to say that that feeling of seeing something new, the uncomfortableness of it, that just shows that you're growing, you're learning, you're growing each day. And I just want to add, just imagine what NextWork would be in 5 years with all the current community learners doing all the project, and how much the world would be so much better, providing values to organizations, solving problems, and just imagine 5 years how big that growth will be. I think, with all that in hand, as we keep swimming along, like Dory from Finding Nemo, we get somewhere. And I'm in for the ride, but great job, Maya.
Thanks, Roy. It is, yeah. Oh, what a wonderful note. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Roy. Thanks, Sohib. I hear the cheers. NextWork would be growing in the next 5 years. Great job to the team. And thank you all for joining. Thanks for all your support and all the feedback that you give us all the time. I think that it gives us so much energy to keep going. Thank you. Stay tuned, and I will hopefully see you in like 18 minutes. Take care. Bye.